Welcome everyone. Hope you are enjoying the weekend. So on this weekend, today we will cover session 5. The topic name is network security. Some reason this is my one of favorite topic as well as favorite subject since my college days. The network security never comes with coding or any tough concept. Mostly theoretical, like port number, basic computer networking. Some reason this subject is more interested since my college days, maybe 11 years ago. So with that note, let's start with the exam scope. Why we are learning? Because we are learning for the exam, right? So network security, 24% questions may come from this topic. Again, I just remind you, this exam consists of 100 questions, 120 minutes. So 1.2 minutes you can take. If you take more, maybe you may lose or shortfall with the other questions. If you answer quick, you may get more time to review and answer additional questions. Also, I have posted, there was an update last month stating that Certified in Cybersecurity exam moved to computer adaptive test. What is that? CAT exam model since October 1st. So the questions, if you face hard questions, it will evaluate your skill, and based on that, next questions will come. So that will analyze your skill while evaluating the real time. Based on that, the next question will appear. Also, there must be some dummy questions which doesn't have any points, right or wrong. They may use it for research purpose. That may also included. So with that, maybe the question count may go beyond 100. That's my understanding. But 100 is the final count they given in the exam outline. All right. So with that note, let's start with computer network. As we all know, computer is powerful. Maybe you take in past days calculator. Before calculator, everything was manual. No computation engine or any top like computation like smartphone. Nothing exists. People do everything manual. Then calculator came. Then computers. Nowadays, many other forms of computers we are using, like smartwatch, that act as a mini computer, many other equipments and gadgets around us connected with computer. Computer is still powerful. We have quantum computers, supercomputers, which all are doing very high computational tasks. But still, if you take a single computer is powerful. But when computers get connected together, let's say I have hundreds of employees in my company. All 100 employees can access my SharePoint or shared storage area so that they can work together with any files and components with the company, right? So we connect all the systems together, will form a very high computation power or more powerful computer network. That's where network come into picture. Why we are connecting one system to another system? Because it may reduce the manual task. For example, consider there is a standalone computer, there is a computer connected to printer. You can simply click the print, the printer take out the printed outcome, right? Because the printer and device is connected. Similarly, if you take wireless the speakers, your computer and speaker is connected. Both are technically both system get connected, your audio is coming out. But if you take individual computer, now there is no printer. If you want to take printout, you need to put them in the USB stick or send it to printer connected device, then only you can print. So when it comes to computer network, it is simplifying some of the tasks. That's the reason when computer get connected, that forms the computer network that is more powerful. That's the primary goal for this slide. We just want you to understand computer network is more powerful. Next topic is as we are connecting computers, this when we connecting more than one system, the connection types depends on where you are connecting. With that, we have multiple types. For example, you have bought two computers, let's say two laptop. You are sharing files between two laptop using RJ45 cable or you connect both the laptop into same Wi-Fi modem and transferring file from one computer to another computer, you are basically formed a LAN network, local area network in your house with this setup. Two laptop connected via wire or wireless. Now, you have a small office or consider your computer lab in your college or university where people go to the lab and they connect together and they may have access to common share folder or common drive where files are stored. Some common activities happen across all the system. When they issue a print, that may go to central printer. These all taken care by local area network because you are connected to the same premises, same network, the nearest computer devices that has formed local area network. That is called a local area network. Now come to wireless LAN. Wireless LAN was so popular. If you take last 10 plus years, everywhere you would hear that name Wi-Fi. Maybe if you take 15 years ago, Wi-Fi was not popular. That time people still use um, the wired network. Maybe there was a cable come from ISP like BSNL or Airtel that connected to the modem. From the modem, there is a wire that comes to the laptop. We need to connect that wire to the laptop. That is wired network, which is called wired Ethernet. The IEEE standard for that is 802.3. Still, this wired Ethernet is more powerful, and there are environment they must use wired Ethernet because it doesn't have any the signal emitting issues like when you connect to wireless modem, it emits the radio frequency, right? That's where you are connecting from wireless one system to another system. But using wired Ethernet, the speed is very high. It may go to PB per second. Even normal cable may go to 100 Mbps easily. So wired network is still powerful and robust. It can protect from unknown attacks. Like when you go to wire, until unless someone steal that wire, attack will not happen. But wireless is not the case. Anyone can find your signal and attack. But that the standard you just need to remember is IEEE 802.3. Exam standpoint, if there is a multiple choice question, what is the IEEE standard for wired Ethernet? 802.3. That's what you need to know. Next, wireless. Now the Wi-Fi modems are introduced. Your mobile phone has a hotspot. You can act as a modem and connecting other mobile devices using hotspot capability that go to your telco like Airtel or Jio through a SIM card, right? So that is forming a wireless Ethernet. That standard is called 802.11. So if any questions talks about wireless Ethernet, basically that is Wi-Fi 802.11. Sometimes the short name they put SSID, which is service set identifier. SSID is nothing. When you set a hotspot, you put some name, right? Let's say I pick some name, Kamalesh Wi-Fi or iPhone 13 Wi-Fi. Basically, in your Samsung phone or iPhone, while setting hotspot, it asks you a name. That is called a service set identifier. That name is broadcasted in the Wi-Fi signal so that the nearest device can identify the specific Wi-Fi signal and connect that particular service with the password provided. That is called service set identifier. We call it as SSID name. Then let's shift the gear towards wide area network. What is wide area network? Wide area network is connecting one location to outside location, maybe different boundary. For example, connecting from India to America, India to Europe, India to Singapore. When you make connection from complete geo to another geo, that requires wide area network. Generally, wide area networks happens via undersea cable because country to country, you can't send Wi-Fi signal. You can't put towers across the sea or ocean, right? So they use wired network because that's where the cable cut problems are slowing down the internet. For example, last month, Red Sea, there was a cable cut incident that slowed down entire Dubai or UAE Wi-Fi or internet slows down, right? So those things happens because country to country or continent to continent, the communication still go via wired only, because you cannot keep towers like different towers across the sea, because the tower is basically it forms a honeycomb kind of a network, right? Maybe if you have studied in electronics, you might have aware. Each mobile tower has a boundary. Within that boundary, another tower will cover that, capture the signal and transponder re-emit. That's how it forms the wider area coverage across the land. But in sea, we cannot plant a tower. So wide area networks still go via only wire only. Undersea cable, that is what used to connect wide area network. When it connects to local area network and wide area network, the primary difference is wide area network uses public IP address, local area network uses private IP address. What is public IP? What is private IP is for your homework. Go and Google it. What is private IP? What are the classes we have in private IP? What is public IP? There are a specific set of IP ranges allocated under public IP. That IP only used by telecom ISP providers, internet service providers such as Airtel, Jio. You can purchase if you want a dedicated public IP. You can map it to your website or server or your computer. That comes through respective internet service provider for wide area network. So local area network connecting within the office, within the building, within the campus, that uses local area network. Wide area network go from one city to another city, one country to another country, one continent to another continent, all fall under wide area network. Local area network uses private IP, wide area network uses public IP. I think this concept is clear. Next, move on to the protocols. So the protocols primarily used in networking, transmission control protocol, which is TCP, and the second part is an internet protocol. So entire internet is today running on internet protocol. Without internet protocol, which is called IP protocol, you cannot connect one system to another system. We may have IPv4, IPv6, but still the internet protocol is ruling the world in terms of communication. If one device is connecting to another device, there must be an internet protocol. That's how it identifies local area network or wide area network. So IP addresses primarily uniquely identify computers on a network. So each system on your office or a college or university that assigned to an IP address. So that IP address is unique to that particular device. If more than one computer holding the same IP address, that's where the conflict will happen. Let's say computer A and computer B holding same IP address 10.0.0.1, then it may throw an error, IP conflict, because it must be unique to identify each device on the network. Next, internet protocol breaks it up into small pieces called packets. Each packet is a kilobytes of data. So when you send, let's say you are sending a WhatsApp image through WhatsApp chat, you are sending an image from one system to one mobile to another mobile. Do you think the image directly sent from image to another device as an image? No, because it uses internet protocol. It convert that photo into chunks of small pieces called packets. Each packet's holding that IP protocol, from which IP it is coming, which IP it is going, which IP, the IP and other header informations. Technically, this cannot be your friend's IP address or your IP address in the loop, because it might travel multiple places. For example, you are sending a WhatsApp image, WhatsApp chat through an image from India to, let's say, Europe. Your IP address maybe come from Airtel. Your friend IP, maybe they bought some London-based or UK-based internet service provider similar to Airtel, right? So that two IP address are the actual source and destination. But in between, there might be multiple other connecting internet service providers. It could be Verizon or AT&T or Reliance. Multiple ISPs it passed through. So each area, while it crossing the source and the destination IP address changes, but it identify based on the WhatsApp protocol, it identify the correct destination using your mobile number or that account identification information. It correctly, receiving that information. But if you take overall TCP protocol, it uses IP protocol to take care of that routing. So that has that information. So if you take a 8 MB image that converted into kilobytes of data using packets, that packet is being transferred over wire or wireless. Now, the question come here. If you want to really see the packets, you can use a tool called Wireshark or TCP dump. The Wireshark tool also free. You can install it on any laptop or any computer-based systems. You can start the capture and you can use WhatsApp or any other application, Facebook or any other file transfer software or application. You can start the capture, you can capture. You will see encrypted packet, but still IP protocol is visible from your device to where the packet is going. Probably your home Wi-Fi, it may go. Your home Wi-Fi, again, it routes to the ISP connected to the system. So that's how it forms the network from local area to wider area network, because just a local area network cannot connect to internet. But whenever you see internet connected device, that is connected to talking to WAN, which is wide area network. Because when you have a computer, your computer able to access google.com, google.com is hosted on US California, then what's happening? You are in India, you are in your home, you have connected to your Wi-Fi modem, which has a LAN, local area network. That local area network, which Wi-Fi modem talks to your ISP, which is Airtel or Jio or whatever ISP in India, that connects to US through under cable C or whatever medium. Then it connects to the Google server. So basically, your LAN talks to your wide area network. So all the transaction, the transfer of data happens through IP protocol using small piece of packets. So these packets can be seen using Wireshark tool. So next, we'll talk about one of the famous protocol. When it comes to protocol, the TCP, right? The TCP protocol plays crucial role. So TCP is responsible for setting up and tearing down connection between source and destination. What does that mean? When you make a connection, for example, you send an email to your colleague or friend who is in, let's say, another city. That email, let's say you go to gmail.com, that gmail.com make a TCP connection to Gmail server, which is in US or whatever destination. That makes a TCP connection. Your local laptop and Gmail is get connected. It both talks for a few seconds or few minutes, depends on the amount of load you are sending. Once the loads transformation completed, the transfer completed, then it will tear down. It need to disconnect the connection because the job is done. Why should I, always keep the connection? But if you think the call we are connected here using MS Teams, right? MS Teams, my video is lively streaming. My audio also coming you live. You all get connected. Now what is happening? Here it uses TCP and UDP both. TCP used to cover our chat window in the MS Teams. When I transfer any file in the chat window, that comes through TCP. Also, when you first time you log in, it uses TCP. Okay, but the video and audio never uses TCP. We cannot use TCP. The reason is TCP is handshake protocol. Also, it always acknowledge what I am sending, what you are receiving. If I haven't received, it will give the signal that I haven't seen the packet, resend again. That not suitable for live video and streaming like YouTube or Netflix platform. Primarily the collaboration tool like MS Teams or Zoom, the TCP is not suitable. So TCP is only suitable for secure transfer. For example, I go to internet banking, I make my payment, I make my transaction. That needs acknowledgement. I log in, successfully logged in. I made a transaction, successfully transferred, or transaction failed. It cannot be like a video, right? I just log in, only there is no acknowledgement whether the transaction is complete or not. So in that aspect, TCP is a continuous connection with acknowledgement comes. TCP tracks the packets that are sent and controls the rate at which the packets are sent. Okay, it put the window, the transmission window. Within that, how many packets I can send between the particular source and destination based on the bandwidth. If unlimited bandwidth is available, you imagine in a simple term, there is a water pipe. In that pipe, per minute, you can only send 100 liter of water. If you send 1,000 liter of water, the pipe may broke. That's what TCP tracks the packet rate. Okay, it can understand the network bandwidth. Let's say I connected using 4G. You connected using fiber. 4G maybe go to up to 20 Mbps, fiber may go to 100 Mbps. When both are talking, it should understand, hey, one side is maximum he can go only 20 Mbps, the other side is 100 Mbps. I need to keep the rate. This guy, the source guy has only 20 Mbps. Even though the other side has 100 Mbps, it can't go that 100 Mbps because of the rate limiting. It understands the window. If the transmission control packet send that window size in the TCP control, it understand and accordingly send the pipe. So if there is a packet lost, let's say I'm sending 8 MB image file, third packet lost in between transmission control, maybe under cable C or somewhere the one packet corrupted or lost. TCP sent that acknowledgement. Hey, I haven't received the third packet. I received 99 packet. That one packet was missing. The source again resend the packet. So it complete the transaction with 100 packets. So there is no loss happens in TCP. TCP is a kind of a acknowledgement protocol where if there is a miss, it can send back the acknowledgement and get that missed packet. This is like speed post with acknowledgement card in local term. You are sending a letter to your friend with the acknowledgement card. The post go and deliver the address to that letter. In that letter itself, there is acknowledgement card. They will send back through the same post because that letter is successfully received. That acknowledgement come to the source. That also still exists in Indian Post, I believe. If a packet is lost or damaged along the way, TCP job to request that sender transmit new packet to replace the one that didn't arrive correctly. So that capability there in TCP. Okay. Also, TCP is responsible for correctly reordering the packets at their destination, confirming the reliable delivery. This word reliable is important. TCP is a reliable protocol. You might have seen TCP's, which protocol. TCP is a reliable protocol. The reason behind that, when you convert video, image, or text, or whatever medium or format into packets, if that packets in the transmission get lost, it can identify the loss and ask the source to send that packet again so that the transaction would be completed without any error. Let's say you are sending a video file, first 10 packets lost. When assembling the video, you cannot fit that content. Maybe there would be a gap in that. The file cannot be received as the source file. There would be a difference. Now, let's say the video get converted into 100 packets, 10 packets lost in between. Now, destination server acknowledges that 10 packets lost. Now, source again sent that 10 packets, whatever lost. Then it match and it reorder the whole packets, 100 packets, and produce that video. So that way we can see the whole file from source to destination. That's how TCP is reliable. Primarily, TCP is used if you are a student or a university student, if you are building a project. While building a project, you may need to take a decision whether this application or software should work in TCP or UDP. Imagine TCP is used for secure applications where you don't want to run into any error or any reliability problem. Then TCP is best fit. Because of this acknowledgement, TCP sometimes adds some latency, which is called slowness. Because every packet, there must be some acknowledgement. Yes, successfully I received. That ACK come, TCP SYN ACK is the TCP handshake protocols, right? So that ACK packet must come from receiver to source, sender. That adds some latency because of that. If you only want performance and fast and speed, then UDP is the best fit. We'll cover that in next slide. For example, this video, the current live video or the audio comes through UDP because UDP doesn't have acknowledgement. Only I'm a speaker. I'm also the host for this meeting. I speak, my audio and video get transmitted to you through UDP, not TCP, because there is no acknowledgement. Only one way. I'm talking, that you are receiving. In between, if there is a loss, you may run into some glitches or problem, but you as a receiver or the teams never ask again to send the packet. That's why it's must faster. So UDP is suitable for time sensitive application like audio, video controls, like Zoom or MS Teams, Netflix, YouTube, all functioning on UDP. So UDP called user datagram protocol. It has less overhead, but doesn't guarantee the delivery. Doesn't guarantee the delivery. What does that mean? If there was 3 packet lost in the network, you will see some glitches on my audio and video. It never get fixed because it's a live video, right? So you may see it in recordings, but really we cannot go back and fix. I mean, the destination as a receiver, you cannot ask, hey, I lost 3 packets, send me again so that your audio was clear. Not that way. So it's a real-time protocol. If you speak, that get into other applications. So when it comes to speed, let's say there is high speed applications, for example, detecting motion sensors. Those applications cannot be waiting for acknowledgement in the transmission control. That may add a few milliseconds. That few millisecond impact the project. So they will go to data gram protocol, which is UDP. That doesn't have, it is not a reliable protocol. Also, it doesn't have any acknowledgement. UDP lacks the reliability of TCP, but it operates much faster than TCP. Streaming video is one example. As I said, video is suitable. YouTube and Netflix are the great example. Even if you capture the UDP on Wireshark, right, you will not see anything like just a UDP one-way packets. It doesn't have Cincinnati handshake, but probably in future, maybe I will take a detailed class on Wireshark. That's another topic. I spent multiple years in Wireshark in my career in past. So next, ICMP protocol. This guy is a housekeeping protocol. Really, this guy doesn't have any real work, but ICMP is a protocol which is famous and primarily used before initiating the transaction. Like this is like the moment I joined this call, I was asking, hey guys, are you able to listen or are you able to hear my voice? My screen is visible. What I am doing is I'm just making sure the connection is going through. You are acknowledging you are there as a receiver or as a participant. You are seeing my audio and you are listening my audio. You are seeing my screen. This acknowledgement happens every time when you make a new connection. For example, when you connect to facebook.com or whatsapp.com, first it may use few acknowledgement packets where ICMP may be used to test. I'm able to reach Facebook server. I'm able to reach WhatsApp server. Once that acknowledgement comes, it will not throw any error. If there is no acknowledgement, it put a message, hey, internet doesn't connected. Go and check your network. You may see that error in the browser sometimes when you forget to enable Wi-Fi, when you forget to enable internet or hotspot, you run into a page cannot be displayed error, right? How Chrome is producing that error? Because of this type of protocols. This protocol is a housekeeping protocol. It is part of TCP/IP suite designed to allow network devices system to communicate with each other about the operation of the network. What is operation here is basically whether the network is up and running, able to connect or not. All right, give me a second. I got a chat. Let me quickly check. Sometimes the screen is not visible. All right. Yeah, there is a question about some websites use Quick and UDP as underlying protocol. Will those websites face any issues due to loss of packets? So Quick is another type of protocol. Primarily, Google Chrome-based browser supports Quick protocol. Quick protocol because for this exam perspective, you just need a TCP and a UDP. Quick is not in the syllabus. I just clarify that. But for your advanced learning, Quick is a protocol that is supported in Chromium-based browsers and a few other browsers. That is another version. It does support TCP, but it encapsulates all over TCP so that the acknowledgement delays can be minimized. So that way, we cannot say TCP Quick is complete UDP protocol. It does support TCP, maybe kind of a wrapper. Quick inside Quick, there is a TCP connection. That's how Quick is working as of today. Next is the interesting part. Mark my words, you might have 5 to 6 questions in this page, which is called OSI model and the TCP IP model. I put this comparison in this table because you must know which equivalent layer in OSI model is mapped with TCP IP model. We can say TCP IP model is legacy, then they introduced OSI model. Let's say maybe some years gap. I don't know exactly how many years, but first model we got was TCP IP model, which has almost 4 layers: network access layer, internet layer, host to host layer, application layer. This is 4 layers comes in TCP IP model. The equivalent model for OSI model is network access layer comes into physical and data link fall under network access layer in TCP IP model. Network layer here it call it as internet layer. Transport layer is called as host to host layer. Session layer, presentation layer, application layer equivalent to application layer in TCP IP model. So if you are come from electronics or computer background, you might have studied this OSI model, what it is. This open systems interconnection model is the conceptual framework that describes the functionality at each layer of a computer and network. The OSI model is made up of 7 layers. Now focus on only OSI model. OSI model never work one by one. Okay, it is parallelly happening. How it is parallel? For example, device 1, device 2, both, let's say, connected to WhatsApp. Now we'll break down this. Both has operating system. Both has Wi-Fi access card or net. It has connected to cable or Wi-Fi through internet. So there is a physical layer. The physical layer consists of your wireless, optical fiber, whatever internet NIC card, these all fall under physical layer. The data transfer between 2 nodes fall under data link layer. The IP routing between A and B device is fall under network layer. The protocol selection is fall under TCP or UDP or whatever other protocols, transport layer. Exchange between systems happens on the session layer. Data translation and encryption, if it is HTTPS, TLS 1.2, 1.3, these configurations are under presentation layer. HTTP, SMTP, SSH, etc. are the protocol, application layer protocol, layer 7. So when you send some packet from one device to another device, for example, you are connecting WhatsApp, your device connected to WhatsApp server, your friend device also connected to WhatsApp server. When it happens, when communication happens, these all layer parallelly working. Application layer is a web layer. Probably here HTTPS is the protocol WhatsApp is using. Presentation layer, WhatsApp uses HTTPS to encrypt the protocol, encrypt the traffic. Session layer, it form the session between the source device to respective WhatsApp server. It uses TCP protocol, maybe video call, it may use UDP protocol. Then network layer, the routing, how to reach WhatsApp server. The WhatsApp server is in America. from India to America, how to reach that through internet routers, the ISP path that fall under internet, protocol. The data transfer between two nodes happens through data link layers, maybe that packets, frames, that level of transaction, the reordering happens in the data link layer. Wire and wireless, whatever the physical connectivity could be, your SIM card, your network related equipments all fall under physical layer. So that's how OSI model is framed. If you are really studying computer network, OSI model is important. But this exam standpoint, you just know how to map OSI model with the TCP/IP model. There is a mnemonic how to remember for OSI model. All people seem to need data processing is the mnemonic, but in my favorite is PDN TSPA. That's how I remember. PDN, physical data link network, TSP, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, and application layer. PDN TSPA. That's how I remember. But if you feel difficult, you can use the mnemonic they given. All people seem to need data processing. A for application layer, P for presentation layer, S for session layer, T for transport layer, N for network layer, D for data link, P for physical layer. So whatever work, there are so many mnemonics, whatever works, just to remember all 7 layers and respective layer, what work is being done, because the question they form, I'm using HTTP protocol, which layer the HTTP protocol fall under? You must know, which is layer 7, which is application layer. I am using TCP to communicate to system A to system B. This TCP fall under which layer? You must know transport layer is responsible for selecting the transport medium, which is TCP, which is fall under 4th layer, right? So that's how you must understand which layer, what work is happening. Hope this makes sense. Now let's move on. Next concept is big topic, IP addressing. This is very vast, big topic, but exam specific, you just know the basics. So as I said, IP address is unique per device or system in the network. These addresses that are used by internet protocol are known as IP address. IP address primarily used in internet protocol. That is why the name came IP address. The IP full form is internet protocol. IP addresses are written in what known as dotted quad notation. Dotted quad notation means when I say IP address, it must be 10.0.8.1. That 4 dot is there, right? So that indicates quad notation of IPv4. This means that they are 4 numbers separated by period, which is dot. Each number can range between 0 to 5. For example, you might have a computer that uses IP address 10, 15, 100, 240. So each octet or each quad here is between 0 to 255. Let's say if someone says 256, as a network engineer, as a cybersecurity professional, 256 is not an IP address because maximum it can go 0 to 255. That's why this 0 and 255 is important. How they trick in your exam? They may give you IP address with 256 or 288. As soon as you see that, you can eliminate that. That is not a known IP address. The known IP address between among 4 octet, any value between 0 to 255. That's what basics. We'll cover what are the other aspect of the IP addresses in next slide. Then IPv6. IPv4, it has that limitation of 2 to the power, I believe, 2 to the power 32. Only that number of IPv4 address we can produce. That is already utilized by our internet. I mean, respective countries, continent, different IP ranges, they all fully utilized. We run out of the IP address, then they found IPv6. Now there are countries already started using, long ago, maybe 7-8 years ago, they started using IPv6. Now IPv6 also famous. IPv6 address uses 8 groups of 4 hexadecimal digits. So the below I given the example, this is how IPv6 looks like. You might have seen IPv6 when you connected to Google or Facebook. When you do NS lookup, sometime the IPv6 will come because they adopted IPv6. So just for exam perspective, IPv4 comes with the dotted notation of 4 quad. The given example is 10, 15, 100, 255. Each quad may go up to 0 to 255 range. IPv6 is different. This is 4 hexadecimal digit. So if you look at this 4 hexadecimal digits, for example, here, the hexadecimal pattern given, that's how IPv6 looks. So now why IP address is important? As I said, IP address is a unique identifier in the computer network to identify unique devices from device A to B. Maybe 25 computers get connected in my lab or a university computer lab. But how it knows my friend is sending packet to my another friend, if that send it to someone else, it may create a trouble, right? Instead of your friend, it's sent to someone else. Then because of IP address, it is unique. Let's say Karthik and Anand. Karthik send a packet to Anand. Anand only receives. Instead of Anand, if that packet go to Suresh, then there is a problem here. So that's how IP address primarily used to identify the devices in computer network, unique identifier. So next come to IP assignment. Who will give this IP address? I never ever configured. That's the common response I have seen in some of the students curiously ask when I talk about IP address. But this IP address never assigned by human nowadays. Maybe olden days, people assign manually and calculate the subnets and go to a config prompt and put the IP address manually. But now, with the help of dynamic host configuration protocol, which is called DHCP, automatically IPs get assigned. As soon as you get connected to your Wi-Fi modem will assign available IP address to the new device get connected. Let's say you have 2 mobiles in your home. Already IP 10.0.0.1.1, 10.0.1.2 assigned to your mom and father. Okay, 2 IPs already assigned. Now you bought a new mobile phone. You are also connecting to the same Wi-Fi. That Wi-Fi modem has this DHCP server configuration, dynamic host configuration protocol it uses. It sends that there is a new device get connected. I need to assign third IP address, which is 1.3, because 1.1, 1.2 used by your father, 1.3 is the next available IP address. It assigned automatically. So IP assignment taken care by DHCP protocol. If there is a question, which protocol assigns IP address, remove IP address upon device not there in the network, which is DHCP. DHCP taking care of assignment as well as revoking any IP address if there is a conflict. If the system is unable to find a DHCP server, it assigns itself an IP address using automatic private IP addressing, which is called APIPA. APIPA address will begin with 169.254. In our house, we have a small modem that has DHCP server. But in large enterprises, let's say building of people, let's say maybe 4,000 people working on a big manufacturing plant. Each user has a tablet kind of a device for manufacturing unit. So 4,000 device needs to get connected to IP address. This home modem is not capable. This home modem may go up to 200 people max limit. There must be a limit. It cannot go beyond that. Otherwise, your modem will be very, very frozen or get restarted. It may go not usable. When it comes to office or enterprises business, right, we cannot limit to 200 people. Maybe the building A might hold 2,000 people, the big floors, maybe every floor 800 people can sit. The entire building might hold 8,000 people. We cannot rely on the home modem kind of a small device. So they buy dedicated DHCP server. There are companies selling DHCP service like Microsoft, Infoblox, many other vendors there. they dedicatedly sell this as a server. Whoever connects to their laptop or Wi-Fi, it gives a new IP address in the pool of subnet. That is called DHCP servers. If the system is unable to find the DHCP server, let's say due to some reason DHCP server was turned off or not reachable. Now, in the meantime, it uses APIPA to self-assign IP address, which is 169.254 temporarily until it find the active DHCP server. So if you expect any questions related to 169 and 254, you must know that is not the real IP, that is APIPA IP, which is called automatic private IP addressing, which is called APIPA 169.254. That is the subnet or the first two octet. If you see 169.254, that is not the real IP, which is called APIPA, automatic private IP, temporarily used to connect to the DHCP server or that internet to get that IP address. So IP address start with the number 127 reserved to use as a loopback address. The common loopback address is 127.0.0.1. This is very popular. When you install any web development software development kit like Apache or Tomcat or any other web server like N8N agent-based services, you might have seen you install the software on your laptop. It assign IP address 127.0.0.1:8000 or 9000 port number. What does that mean? That IP is reserved for your laptop. I mean, if you look up 127.0.0.1 or if you send any packets that go to your laptop only, it will not go to outside. So whenever you host your laptop as a web server or temporarily acting or developing any websites using your laptop, that 127.0.0.1 is being used. That is called the loopback address. If they give, let's say, two IP address, 169.254 and 127.0.0.1, you might think these two are not real IP address. First one is APIPA, second one is loopback. Okay, just for example perspective, you understand what is APIPA, what is loopback, what loopback IP address looks like. Loopback address is always 127.0.0.1. Next, find the valid IP address. This is exam standpoint. I put this slide. They may give you 4 IP range, 4 IP address, ask you to find what is the valid IP. If there is IP with above 255, definitely that is not a valid IP address because IP address always comes with between 0 to 255. If it is beyond 255, if you see any number, that IP is not a valid IP address. The first value in IPv4 address should never be 127 because 127 reserved for loopback. If you see 127, that is not also valid IP address. The first value in IP address should never be higher than 223 because above 223 reserved for other purpose. So if you see any public IP address, that never be 224 or 240 or something like that because 223 is the maximum available for public IP address. With this logic, because we all human, we can easily understand and apply this controls and limitation while answering the questions. You can figure out the right IP address in the upcoming multiple choice questions. So before that, we'll go to domain name system. We'll cover this topic as well. So domain name system is nothing like instead of IP address, let's say I give you LearnCyberSec.com.in. That is our website built for the registration, right? If I tell, hey guys, go and register on 100.1.2.3, it is so difficult to remember, right? You can still identify my public IP address, go to that website and register. But the difficulty is here. All the web servers are having static public IP address, one another form, like somewhere IP address must be used. You can reach the website or web server using IP address. But the problem is, it is not user-friendly to remember which service I need to connect. When I say go to LearnCyberSec.in and register for upcoming batch, you can give it to your colleagues or friends and invite people to join the course. Simple. If you say 100.1.2.3, go there and give the registration, people won't remember that IP address is difficult. To solve that problem, domain name system was built. Domain name system is nothing. It converts name into IP address. So you can buy domain name. You can map the IP address so that it is internationally recognizable. Even local area network, people buy local private IP address and map it to local domain. Within the network, within your college network or within your home network, you can use that particular domain, but that only works in that network. When it comes to internet, it will not work. So that's how domain name system. But the definition standpoint, computers use IP address to communicate over the network, as we have seen unique IP address being used. But those addresses are very difficult for people to remember because so many IP address we cannot remember. Just imagine if you had to memorize the IP address of every web server that you need to access. For example, facebook.com, whatsapp.com, google.com. You need to remember all the IP address, you cannot. So simply put the name, be memorable, or you can remember. The domain name system allows people to use easily recognizable names to place to IP address. In this opportunity, I take and explain what is that last one in the LearnCyberSec.in. You see on the bottom right, we put this domain, right? LearnCyberSec.in. The .in indicates India, right? This is called top level domain, TLD. Okay, top level domain. If you see .com, .io, .ai, .ae for Dubai, .ru for Russia. So the respective country, they own that top level domain so that their country can be also identifiable. For example, when I say learncybersec.in to some US friends, they clearly indicates this is India-based company or India-based service. They are hosted somewhere in India. So it's indicating this service hosted in India. But when it comes to .com, it is very common. You cannot figure out which country they are owning. For example, facebook.com, you can't tell it is US based because it doesn't have any .us or anything. But if you look at Zoom, zoom.us, Zoom is registered in .us because they especially bought that domain under US TLD. But anyone can buy any domain. Just you need to pay the money to the domain name provider, and you can buy. Based on that, you can construct your business. But end of the day, this is used to easily help the people to remember your business and go to that one page. It could be your e-commerce business or whatever business. That's how domain name is selected based on the TLD, based on the business and types and industry. So next, before go to network ports and applications, we'll take short break, 5 minutes. Then we'll reconnect, go and have drink or anything, and then come back at around 8:05 p.m. IST. All right, guys, be right back. All right, everyone, I'm back. Let's continue. All right, so next topic is ports and protocols. So that's another important topic because when it comes to ports and protocols, one server can host multiple services. One server can host multiple services because I have web server, I have file server, I have maybe another service. For example, to run a 3 service, I cannot buy 3 web server, physical server, right? So single server, I can host multiple services. But to avoid the collision or error, I can use different port number. For example, my server IP address is 10.0.0.1:80 for HTTP, :443 for HTTPS, :22 or 21 for FTP. So single server can host multiple services using different port number. That's where port plays major role. So when you connect to any web server, you may see the port must go through 443 because mostly all the web services are using HTTPS. But this port number is ranged between 0 to 65,535 is the total number of ports available But in this range, 0 to 1023 ports are called well-known ports reserved for common applications by internet authorities. Let's say you are a student or you are a working professional. When you are making a new project or some designs, you need to make sure you cannot use port number between 0 to 1023 because these ports are reserved for common applications by internet authorities. You cannot go and use port number, let's say 626 or let's say 14. Sorry, within that 1023, let's say you cannot use port 443 for your own purpose or port 22 for your own purpose. So that way, internet authorities controlling the known ports. So if there is a question, you are developing a project, you have assigned a port number incorrectly to 999. Can this be allowed? No. If you assign port number within 1023, that cannot be used in your private applications because within 0 to 1023 ports, well-known ports and managed by internet authorities. So port between 10242 to 49151 are known as registered ports. You can request a registration application. You can obtain any particular port number if you like to register in between this range. That's why Microsoft registered 1433 for SQL. Oracle registered 152 for its 1521 for its own database use. So if you are building a project, you cannot use 1433. Between 1024 to 49151 are well-known registered ports that cannot be used by just randomly, but you can use between 49151 to 65535 random ports for your own side projects or any other private development that will not conflict with any other services because these are available ports you can leverage. Port above 49151, dynamic ports that application can use it on a temporary basis. So keep in mind these port ranges. Total range is 0 to 6535, 535. 0 to 1023 is called as well-known ports. Common applications will use like HTTP, SSH, or website, the web protocols, or any other protocols. Port between 1024 to 49151, registered ports, anyone can make an application to register and they need to pay the fee and you can get allocated your application. For example, you are inventor, you have invented a new software that need to use port number 30,000. You can request internet authorities to register that port with your patented application. They will assign the port and they will update the list like Microsoft did and Oracle did, right? 1433 and 1521. Similarly, you can also request. But I don't have that much, capability to register the port number. I want to use temporarily some port number for communication. Then you can go with 49151 and above. That is temporarily used ports. All right, this is just a number of things, but you need to remember, keep this slide. I will share the entire deck post this call. Next, some common, this between 0 to 1023 called as well-known ports, right? These well-known ports are mapped to some popular applications. For example, 53 mapped to DNS, 2021 mapped to file transfer protocol, which is FTP, 80 reserved for HTTP, 443 reserved for HTTPS, and 1433 SQL DBS, 1521 Oracle DB, 3389 RDP, 25 SMTP, 587 is encrypted protocol, 22 is SSH. So why we need to remember this? There must be a question. For example, what is the well-known port for SQL DBS by Microsoft? 1433 you might aware of. So just remember this table. If anyone asks any questions so that you can respond. Also, exam standpoint, you may expect some questions from this table. So next, securing Wi-Fi network. We have seen Wi-Fi is part of primarily local area network, right? So how we can secure that local area network? If any malicious threat actor in your house or your office premises they try to snoop into your Wi-Fi network, then they can steal the data, right? Because your computer connected over wireless. Let's say the next building, your hacker is sitting and scanning all the signals and trying to get the data out of your Wi-Fi signal is possible. So we need to secure the Wi-Fi network as well. So first option is you can hide the SSID broadcasting. You can see this capability in mobile phone itself as well as some latest modems. You can disable SSID, which means your Wi-Fi name is not visible to anyone. You need to tell the password along with your name so that the new device they are connecting, they put the username and password to connect the Wi-Fi. Generally, we broadcast, anyone can scan and see the Wi-Fi name, but the protection is disable SSID. Okay. Next, change the default password. All Wi-Fi modem comes with admin 123 or password 123 as a password. Change the Wi-Fi access point password to complex password. Then pre-shared keys. So these pre-shared keys, something we set while giving Wi-Fi, right? Wi-Fi to someone in the modem or hotspot. We use that pre-shared key like your Wi-Fi password. That must be rotated frequently. Maybe every 6 months, you need to change the password so that if anyone is hacked or anyone is decoded, that cannot be used no longer. Next, enterprise authentication. The Wi-Fi user ID password is home. It's okay, just user ID and password. But enterprise, what they will do, they give unique password for each user using Okta or Azure AD or ADFS connected to enterprise IDPs, the identity providers. So that can be linked to your Wi-Fi network so that whenever user connects, they put their user ID and their own password, they get connected to Wi-Fi. Instead of common user ID and password in our house we use, but in companies they use specific user ID and password so that it can track which user connected, which user not connected in the Wi-Fi. Next, captive portals. These portals you might have familiar with when you go to railway station or airport or any free Wi-Fi, they give a portal, they ask you to enter your user ID, your mobile number, your name, how long you would like to use the Wi-Fi, those information. That portal then give the confirmation through OTP, then your Wi-Fi get activated. This is kind of a temporary guest Wi-Fi. They popularly use captive portals because temporary connection given to specific devices. Then wireless encryption. This is so important section because when mobile device or computer get connected to Wi-Fi, if hacker also sitting on the same network and scanning the signals through some sophisticated devices or advanced equipments, they can decode the data, right? So to avoid that problem, between your computer or mobile device to Wi-Fi modem or hotspot device, that Wi-Fi uses some encryption and decryption method. If someone steals the signal, they cannot see any real data. They just see encrypted text. Okay, so that cannot be used to decode any real data. For example, you are connected to WhatsApp, you are chatting personally. Someone steals that Wi-Fi signal and trying to decode. They only get junk value, which is cannot be decryptable. So that's why wireless encryption is important. Primarily, we are protecting confidentiality here using wireless encryption. If you have seen confidentiality, integrity, availability for CAA triad, right? So wireless encryption is something provide confidentiality because only the intended authorized user can see the data. The others cannot see the data. Here, the attacker cannot see the data. So there are many security encryption methods. While setting up the Wi-Fi, it will prompt in mobile phone. You need to select the respective control. The first one is wired equivalent privacy. WEP is no longer secure. If you have seen last 8-10 years old modem, if you still have in house, go to that Wi-Fi settings and you can see this protocol WEP. Then we have Wi-Fi protocol access, temporal key integrity protocol, which is called WPA. Then Wi-Fi protected access version 2 released in 2024 with encryption still considered secure and is widely used. So WEP is no longer secure. WPA1 is less secure. WPA2 is more secure, which is released in 2004. Then we have WPA version 3 2020, which uses simultaneous authentication of equals. Okay, so that is more secure. So WPA 2 and 3 are more secure. You just need, in exam standpoint, you just imagine, WPA 2 and WPA 3 is secure. WEP and WPA version 1 is no longer secure. So here is the same table what we have discussed. So the Wi-Fi encryption standard, if you keep open network, that is insecure. You need to use one encryption protocol. If you use WEP, which is insecure. WPA version 1 no longer secure. WPA 2, WPA 3 is secure. Okay. The reason I put this color code and this dedicated slide, you may expect one or two questions from this topic. From the exam standpoint, they put a question. They may give four options: WPA, WPA V2, WPA V3, and WEP. Among four, choose the most secure one. You need to think WPA 3 is the latest one, more secure. Okay. So that's how you need to figure out best answer out of available options. All right. Time to check our intelligence knowledge so far, what we have learned. Which one of the following is a valid IP address? So far we have seen some logic. We just apply that logic and identify which one is the valid IP address. Very simple question, but you just need to understand what is the maximum number range, the first octet. When it comes to specific number, that may not be valid IP address. Guys, we have 14 people in this call. At least I expect minimum 5 response in the chat. Take the chat and participate. Right or wrong, nothing will happen, right? So I never, score anything. Just your knowledge check. That may gives me acknowledgement. Am I teaching you? You are receiving that correctly, or I need to update. For example, generally I take this as a feedback and improve my the coaching capability next time. For next batch, I may add more explanation if this question is everyone wrongly answers. So if you haven't pay attention to the entire last 30 minutes, you may not be able to answer. But if you have paid attention, these concepts we discussed very well. So take the chat and confirm. Few more response I'm expecting. All right, let's come to the answer. The first is not the answer because second octet 274 is out of the range 0 to 255. Second one, B is a loopback address because it starts with 127. So that is not the right answer. The third one, 194, 243, 129, 144. B could be a right answer. Next is 240, 115, 15.2. That is not the right answer because there was a first octet range limit that is not beyond a certain number, but 240 is beyond that. So D is not the answer. So the right answer is C. Next one is Siva is configuring a Wi-Fi network for a user who will be working from home. He would like to configure the network so that it is strongly protected from eavesdropping as possible. Which encryption standard should Siva use? Come on, guys. We just seen this as a dedicated slide. This is how the slide converted into question. Which encryption standard should Siva use among four? All right. So the first one is WEP insecure. WPA2 may be secure. WPA3, yeah, that is the latest one, which is more secure. WPA4 not exist. So 1 and 4 eliminate. Now the only answer is 2 and 3. If you choose 2 and 3, WPA3 is the best one because that is the latest one. We need to inform Siva, hey Siva, use WPA3, which is option 3. Next one, network threats and attacks. Types of threats for computer network. So when computers are interconnected, there are some threats applicable for these networks. The first one is DDoS, then virus, worm, Trojan, man in the middle. We'll see all the attack types for networks, how we can mitigate. First one is malware. Malware or malicious software is one of the most significant threats to computer security. Malware objects infect computer systems and then perform some type of evil action. This is just a textbook definition of malware. But really how malware works, now with the help of ChatGPT, Perplexity, the evil GPT, triple X GPT, many GPTs are exist. You simply go and tell, hey, GPT, I need to write a code which will continuously restart my Windows system or every 1 hour shut down the system and give me that as a DOM file or specific file type. The ChatGPT does everything and give you a final outcome. Then what happens? They simply, get the code and execute it in the device that is infected. In older days, people should know how to write a code, then create virus, malware, but now things are very simple. So because of that, more number of attacks are coming and targeted. So with the help of ChatGPT, you can develop virus. So virus spread from one system to another system based on user action. So the definition and how that impacts the user device is important. Virus based on user action. Virus will not propagate themselves. Virus only react when user do something. Okay. Example, this might be opening an email attachment, clicking a link to a malicious website, or inserting an infected USB device. Virus don't spread unless someone trigger or activate them. Therefore, one of the best way to protect against virus is through user education. So virus, what is virus? Virus spreads from system to system based on user action. And the trigger, the best way to protect is user education. Tell the user don't plug unknown USB device to computer. Don't click on link from unknown emails. Don't open attachment if someone send the guy who doesn't know or you not expecting that email from someone. If there is an email, don't click on that attachment. That may be a virus. So this is how you can protect from virus. Next to worms. Worms spread from one system to another system without any user interaction. They spread under their own power. Take example, university or college lab, maybe 50 system connects interconnected. There is one guy inserted worm that all 50 computers get infected. All 50 computers, the administrator need to reinstall the OS or run into some trouble. Okay. So worms doesn't require any user input. Worms reach out and exploit system vulnerabilities, infecting systems without the user doing anything. Once a worm infected a system, it uses that system as a new base for spreading other parts of the local area network, the broader internet. I could think worms as a COVID-19 because if it get infects to someone, if someone goes near, it catches the other person, right? Similarly, worms infected one system, it uses that system as a base and spread to the another connected systems. Next, Trojan horse. Trojan horse pretend to be a legitimate piece of software, but it does some bad stuff in the backend. Very good example is nowadays people watch more the Korean dramas and very famous video series, right? That is popularly not freely available. What people think, install some APKs, install some software from Play Store and watch those videos. Or suddenly you need some converter application. You go and download from any random website and install it on your mobile or laptop, right? Basically, that may be a Trojan. You are getting your expected outcome. You can watch Korean drama or you can convert some file to other file using that software. But in addition, that software take all your gallery, all your data from your mobile or laptop, send it to the attacker. Attacker may use that for the monetization purpose, or even they threaten you if you have any sensitive photo or pictures in your mobile phone. They threaten and ask ransom money. If otherwise, they will leak it in the public internet. So Trojan horse is so dangerous. It can act as a good software and it encrypt and it can ask ransom. So that's the reason. But how to fix that? We need to make sure the softwares are authorized software we are installing, licensed softwares are installing in the enterprises. But in personal device, we won't pay much attention. When it comes to companies or business, make sure 100% licensed original softwares are installed. The no way user can install any open random software on their laptops. That's how we can protect from Trojan horse. Now, eavesdropping. Eavesdropping is on-path attacks. On-path attacks is same like Wi-Fi. If someone steal the Wi-Fi signal and decrypt, if someone attach the cable tapper device and get the signals and they capture the packets and decode it, these are on-path eavesdropping attacks. Man in the middle attacks, DNS poisoning. Let's say you are going to facebook.com. The attacker developed a similar website, Tito, copy replica of facebook.com, but hosted on different server. They tweak the DNS and routing you to the wrong fake facebook.com and capture your user ID and password. These are happening in real time. So that's through DNS, and R poisoning is the way to do that. But that's how man in the middle attack works. Then man in the middle browser attacks. You are the same example. You are thinking you are going to facebook.com or gmail.com, but actually that is going to attack the web server that hosting or posting as a Facebook or Gmail. So that's the reason always we need to check we are connected to right internet. If no one is stealing the internet connectivity in the middle, otherwise it may you need to pay attention to the address bar. If you see any suspicious, if you haven't seen the OTP, or if you see slight grammatical mistakes or any UI changes, you need to make sure you are connected to right website or not. Then denial of service attacks. This is so common in this competitive world. For example, the big billion sales happens, right? Like Amazon or Flipkart, right? They host attract more customers on that particular time period. What will happen? More people go and log in, that server becomes slow. This is a real-time example of denial of service. Actually, more people go and overwhelm the server that cannot function. But in attack type, what will happen? Attacker will send half broken connection. They only send SYN, they never send SYNAC. Because of that, TCP connections are formed and opened that will consume more CPU on the web server side, that halt the service and website will go outage. Okay, that's how denial of service attacks works. Disrupting the legitimate use of system. Unlike other attacks, these targets the availability leg of the CAA triad. These attacks are known as denial of service attacks. Like the DOS attacks are multiple people attacking the same server, opening the half broken TCP connection. The distribution denial of service attack is another form. The source is distributed across different devices. For example, the website is in India. Attack come from North Korea and Russia and America, 3 countries on the same time to India web server. Okay, now you imagine this India web server need to tackle all 3 countries attack on the same time. They cannot withstand. So they use some type of services called Akamai or Cloudflare DDoS protection service. What it does, as soon as the attack is detected, it will disable the actual IP address. It change it to another IP address so that attacks are offloaded to dummy IP address. So they offload the DDoS protection. There are DDoS protection, but primarily they use firewall to predict and drop the connection so that web servers are protected. Next, side channel attacks, the footprints activities such as changes in the process utilization, power consumption, electromagnetic radiation, Side channel attacks seek to use this information, monitor system activity, retrieve information. Very famous attacks, this crypto mining, and they place a device next to your computer that sends your computer temperature, your computer timing, and the processor activities, and try to figure out which algorithm your computer is using, which mechanism it uses, and try to decrypt those using those things, because you are using encrypted Wi-Fi. It collects additional information from your computer surroundings and use that information to decrypt and trying to decrypt your data using side channel attacks. Primarily, this is based on how much power your computer is taking, how much process your computer is utilizing, electromagnetic radiation around your computer. These all taken into consideration. They find code word to decrypt. Maybe this could be the kind of a guessing work. How long you are spending on that lock, that using that time to unlock the thing, maybe within this 3 seconds, this is your password, like a kind of a guesswork. But side channel attack is similar. Side channel attacks never steal anything directly, but it takes some surrounded information like power utilization, CPU processor utilization, electromagnetic radiation. Such characteristics can be used to take the side channel attack. So side channel attack can be mitigated by securing the data center, keeping a high equipment in a protected area so that no one can steal such additional informations. Okay, now come to quiz time. It's an interactive quiz. Samraj is the system administrator for a small business network that is experiencing security problems. He's in the office one evening working on the problem, and nobody else is there. He's watching, he can see the systems on the other side of the office that were previously behaving normally, now exhibiting signs of infection, one after other. Which type of malware Samraj is likely dealing with? So there are hints in this question. He's in the office, no one is there, some systems are on, no user. He's suddenly seeing one by one systems are getting infected. What could be this kind of malware is happening? Maybe I just explained this in the malware section. Maybe figure out it could be virus or worm or Trojan horse. So the trick part here is user not doing any trigger. It is happening itself. So which malware does that? Characteristic. All right. So simple questions. So all are answered right. Virus cannot be because virus needs some user input. This question clearly tells that no one was sitting on the office. He's the only guy. Then, so virus is not the answer. Virus need a user trigger. Worm can spread from one device to another device itself. So it act that base device as base and spread across other systems. So worm is the right answer. Trojan horse again need user input. User go and download some software for the work. Along that software, the Trojan horse implant the malware. So Trojan horse is not the right answer here. So next quiz, which one of the following statements about a denial of service attack is incorrect? Okay, read the question again, which is incorrect. Okay, they originate from many different sources. They can disrupt the availability of systems. They require large amount of bandwidth. They are easily detectable. So which one is incorrect? This is slightly tricky because we are asking not correct, we are asking incorrect. So figure out in the DOS protection, what could be your answer for this? Okay, let's see the answer. DOS primarily from one particular source. Distributed denial of service comes from multiple sources. Okay, that's the primary difference. But both consume more bandwidth. That is another characteristic. They originate from many different sources, because that is incorrect, right? Because DOS comes from one source. they can disrupt the availability of the system. Yes, of course, DOS and DDoS both disrupt the availability. So that is correct. They require large amount of bandwidth, also correct, because it consumes more bandwidth because of broken TCP connection, every attack opens and hang for a few seconds, that consume the bandwidth. They are easily detectable. Yes, using firewall, they can detectable. So the answer is one, which is they originate from many different sources, because the question here is which one of the following is about DOS attack is incorrect. So they originate from single source. That's the reason they originate from many different sources are incorrect. This is how the questions are tricked you to figure out the wrong answer. So make sure you understand which one is incorrect among the given list. That's how you can prepare. This just reinforce the topic what we have learned, because when you apply your knowledge and identify and apply, you're basically learned and reapplying. That will store it in your muscle memory for long duration. So that's the agenda for keeping a question while explaining. So threat identification and prevention. Next, how we can mitigate those threats, right? So antivirus can be used. Antivirus again uses signature detection, database of known malware patterns and scans. Behavior detection takes different approach. Instead of using patterns, it known malicious activity. Next, we have intrusion prevention, intrusion detection, host-based IDS, HIDS, host-based IPS, network-based IDS, network-based IPS, signature detection, and anomaly detection. So here, basically, we are actually covering threat modeling. Okay, when threat modeling or threat intelligence forming for a company, what we will do? Okay, you have threat for virus. If any user installs something, viruses get installed, how we can mitigate? Okay, use antivirus software. Antivirus software, what it does, as soon as it sends, there is a virus file based on the file signature, it immediately delete that file or send the signal to administrator, hey, there is a computer in your network is infected with XYZ virus, go and fix the problem. That's how signature detection works. Signature detection is a legacy model. Let's say I know 10 files. These are the virus files used in internet popularly. That 10 files, they keep the record of the signature and correlate. It's like a known keys. You have 10 key. If any of the key matches, detect and clean that file. It's a legacy model. But now, because of latest trend like AI and very other new technologies, this is not helpful for the companies, because companies are developing new viruses every minute. So they need to detect the file behavior. If any file behaves abnormally in your computer, it detects that as a virus and clean that file or or lock the file or lock the computer or contain the computer from the network so that it will not impact other computer in the network. So that's how behavior takes different approach. Next, intrusion detection and intrusion prevention. One is proactive, another one is reactive. What is proactive? Intrusion detection only tells there is a problem. Okay, intrusion prevention, it detects and blocks the problem. For example, there is a malware installed. Like, let's say there is a virus installed. That virus is collecting all the photos in my desktop and send it to the hacker. Now, if you take intrusion detection, it only tells, hey, there is a file. That file is collecting the photo and send it to hacker IP address 1001. Okay, so maybe simple example. Now, administrator need to investigate from the intrusion detection logs, then only investigate manually. But intrusion prevention, what it does, as soon as it detected there is a bad thing happening, it block. It will not allow to send the file or a photo from desktop to the attacker server. So intrusion prevention is reactive, intrusion detection is proactive. Okay, that's the difference. So host-based IDS, the IDS installed on the Windows device, mostly Windows Defender, act as a host-based IDS. Network-based IDS, maybe you need to buy some network devices. For example, Fortinet, FortiGate, Zscaler, they may offer network-based IPS where the network device sits in your inline network and scan all the traffic and block if there is a malicious activity happens. So as well as signature and anomaly detection based on that, it detects, for example, suddenly 1 GB file is being transferred. Then IDS sends that everyday user only send 30 MB. Suddenly he sends 1 GB. It's a behavior based detection and block the transaction. Then signature based, if there is a malware signature matches like destination IP address or file, then it uses network based IDS to block. So host based is installed on the local device. Network is installed on the inline network path. It could be next to router or next to firewall as a separate service, or within firewall, they put a module called IDS and IPS. I mean, it's a very big topic, but exam standpoint, you just know how threat identified and what are the options you can prevent. So virus, malicious code, you can use antivirus software. Also intrusion detection, IPS, intrusion detection IDS, intrusion prevention IPS can be used to mitigate network-based attacks. So next, classification of errors. So for example, whenever there is a alert come from firewall or IDS, IPS, you can put into false positive or false negative category. For example, there is a false positive alert. For example, there is a good file that detected as a virus. Then it is a false positive. There is a virus, okay, that is not detected at all. Then it is false negative. So that's how errors coming. I repeat, there was a virus. Sorry, there was a good file that detected as a virus. Your administrator getting an alert and administrator go and see it's a non-file. It's not a virus, but your antivirus software malfunctioning or wrongly detected. That is called false positive. False negative, when there was a real virus, but your antivirus is not triggering alert, then that is false negative. You need to fix both the scenario. This is called under classification of errors. Next, what firewall does basically, every request, every network request, whatever connection made from the computer or systems that go to firewall make a decision whether it should be allowed or blocked according to the organization security policy. In simple term, let's say your organization blocked Facebook. Now user try to access Facebook. As soon as it sees facebook.com in the request or a network traffic, it apply a rule block. So in computer or company network, you cannot access facebook.com. Similarly, any malicious destination, let's say virus or Trojan destination, when user device try to access, it automatically blocks based on the destination IP or domain address. That's how firewall protects computer network and devices. Now come to the question section. So Jaya recently analyzed the result of a vulnerability scan report and found that a vulnerability report by the scanner found that a vulnerability reported by the scanner didn't exist because the system was actually patched as specified. Which type of error occurred? Okay, she received a report that says there was a vulnerability, but actually the vulnerability not exist. What type of error it is? It is false positive or false negative or true positive, true negative. So again, we go back to the same example. False positive means, let's say there was a good file, it detected as virus. Now it is false positive. There was a virus not at all detected. That is false negative. That's what we have seen, right? So now here, vulnerability report says there was a vulnerability, but when she go and check, the system already patched. So here, this fall under false positive because user vulnerability reported, but vulnerability no longer there in the system. It's like virus is report triggered, but virus not there when they go and check. So that is false positive. They can close the ticket like Jaya can make a report. Yes, I have checked the reported vulnerabilities. That's no longer there in the system. So treated as false positive and closing the ticket. So that's how Jaya can respond. So network security infra protection. So how data centers can be protected, considering the time check will go quickly. So data center protection, when we are handling the devices, which is full of computer and servers right in the data center, we need to make sure air temperature, data center at a temperature between 64.4 and 80.6 degree Fahrenheit. Humidity must be environmental specialists measure data center humidity using the dew point and recommended maintaining the facility at a dew point somewhere between 49.9 and 50.0 degree Fahrenheit. You exam standpoint, just to memorize what is the air temperature for data center. 64.4 to 80.6 degree Fahrenheit is the recommended temperature range. If it is go above, your device may impacted due to heat. That's why they put more air conditioner, more cooling in the data center. If you have ever visited data center, that is cooler than the outside temperature, because we need to protect computer hardware system. You might have seen laptop under we put a fan and there is a stand with the fan all coming, right? Because if when you maintain cooling situation, your processor RAM will go long life. When your temperature increases, it will break down and it may impact your life of the hardware. That's why this recommendation. In air content humidity, that may form static electricity as well as conductivity. That's why the humidity is measured in dew point. That must be 41.9 and 50 degree Fahrenheit. So we need to maintain that dew point within that range. Okay, so that's where we can make sure the static electricity is not formed. The fire is dangerous in any environment, can be particularly damaging facility filled with electrical equipment. Okay, the fire necessary fire protection equipments must be installed. Considering data center is full of electronic equipment, they may not use water-based fire extinguisher. They may use other kind of chemicals like a foam-based or powder-based fire extinguisher they may use. In case of fire, they can't use water in data centers, especially because all our computer system servers, they use different type of chemicals to control the fire. Next topic is cloud computing, guys. It's an interesting topic because nowadays cloud is so famous. Last 8 years, cloud is booming. Various cloud like Azure, Amazon, Google Clouds are so popular. But now we'll see some cloud related concepts. So when you go and subscribe cloud, right? When you are running a web server, let's say you started an e-commerce business, small startup, you are taking care of everyday 100 orders. Now, during Diwali time, your business peaked and every day you are getting 10,000 orders suddenly. Now, the server earlier it was handling 100, suddenly it is handling 1,000. You need to increase the server size, right? When you add more servers, it is called horizontal scaling. When you are adding more CPU, more RAM, more storage into the same server, which is called vertical scaling. Okay. So horizontal scaling, you are adding multiple web server. Let's say earlier you had only one server, you bought two more server to handle up to 10,000 orders per day. Now, another option, within the same server, you are adding more RAM. Let's say earlier it was 8 GB, now you added 32 GB. You added a CPU, you added additional hardware storage, like let's say 1 TB extra. Now that is called vertical scaling because you are vertically scaling. So horizontal scaling, adding more number of systems to support the load. Vertical scaling, improving the existing system to handle the more load. So to short, horizontal scaling and vertical scaling primarily improving. How you are improving is the matter. Horizontal scaling, adding more systems as it represented in the first image on the top. Vertical scaling, same device. You see on the description, earlier it was 1 TB, then 3 TB, then 5 TB. That's how you are growing your server because of more load, more orders coming from your e-commerce website. This is just an example. Same goes to enterprise business. Let's say it could be banking, it could be automobile, whatever web server you are hosted on Kubernetes or cloud systems. Whenever there is a scaling, you need to understand, are they scaling vertically or horizontally? Okay, different approach. When you do horizontal scaling, you may need load balancer to take care of split the load. When you do vertical scaling, maybe you may not require load balancer because it's a single server, you keep adding the load. Next, models, private cloud, public cloud, hybrid cloud, community cloud. Private cloud dedicated to you. Okay, you go and buy VPC in Amazon or private network in Azure. That complete network is only for your company. When it goes to public cloud, maybe the shared endpoints, that entire server shared by some other companies. For example, you bought small piece of service from, let's say, O365. O365, maybe other customer also purchased O365, the email service or Outlook or whatever Microsoft services. That uses shared servers, maybe same server, it store company X, company Y data into the same. That is public cloud. You have other companies' data also in the same hardware. Hybrid cloud, you have public cloud as well as your on-prem servers, both work together. For example, local ADFS server for authentication, the database server in your Azure. Both connect together to serve a website with authentication and connectivity, then it is hybrid cloud. Community cloud shared across different entity like Anna University, IIT, they group together and purchase a community, cloud community. They share common research project or library of books and all. They form a community cloud, primarily for college, universities, research departments. They purchase community cloud that exists, but not that famous. Next, cloud service models. This is just an analogy. Don't think why we are talking about pizza model here, but just to learning purpose, I put this as an example. Traditional on-premises. What does that mean? Traditional on-premise means you purchase hardware from servers like Dell or HP server. You purchase, you mount it in your own data center. You feed the power, you feed the internet, you connect to the internet, you take care of the routing, switching, IP routing, all the things on your own. That is called traditional on-premises. Infrastructure as a service. Let's say I don't want to take care of the hardware. I don't have place to mount a device. I don't have enough skilled people to manage the servers on my office. You can go and buy only servers in the cloud. Let's say only hardware. I will take care of the OS, software, and other parts, but hardware, location, or the mounting, cabling, that is taken care by infrastructure, that service provider, which is called IaaS, infrastructure as a service. Because the first one is everything you are managing. Second one, IaaS, is the hardware part taken care by the vendor. Only you are just using, on the top of OS and a few other components like a software you are loading. Next one is platform as a service. Even OS also they take care. We only just need to install the software and use that platform. Software as a service is a SaaS model. SaaS model is very common, like Salesforce, SAP, Jira, GitHub. These are SaaS model. You never purchase server, you may never purchase any software or any specific service, but you purchase as a service. Let's say you purchase only Outlook email. Everything taken care by Microsoft, the server, physical wiring, routing, software installation, patching, all taken care by Microsoft. They only provide user ID and password. You go to that website and log in and use the service. That is called a SaaS model. Now come detail. This is providing detail. On-premise, on-site, you are taking care of everything. In IaaS, under networking, storage, server, virtualization taken care by respective provider, you install operating system, Windows or Linux or whatever OS, then you will install middleware, software, or whatever application or SDK. Then you develop the application. That is called IaaS model. In platform as a service, they provide OS and respective space to install the software. You only install the software and the data. That's all in the PaaS. SaaS, everything provided by cloud. SaaS is the very used model because it reduces all the headache. You see the you manage part. Companies mostly, they don't want to manage any software. They don't want to manage any hardware. They just want to go and pay some money and use that as a service. That's why that's very so famous. When you look at any services like Ola, Uber, Netflix, these are SaaS models because you go and purchase their service, everything they take care of the hosting, website, applications, they are taking care. The best example is SAP, Salesforce, GitHub, GitLab, Jira, Confluence. These applications are very famous applications using this SaaS model. You go and subscribe and use it. That's it. For example, if you want to build a startup, you no need to worry about where to host my email server, where to host my website server. You don't need to take care. You go simply to any hosting provider, pay some money, they provide domain, they provide website template, just put some information, that's all. Your website is up and running. So that's called SaaS model. Nowadays, that's so famous. For exam standpoint, you must know difference between SaaS, IaaS, PaaS. Okay. So that's the goal for this slide. You may expect some question from this. So security and shared responsibility of this model, that is important. For example, if you take IaaS, some of the component hosted by you, some of the component managed by vendor, right? So security also shared here. You only take care of in IaaS, OS, middleware, runtime, data application. Only you have that control. The bottom security control for server, storage, networking taken care by vendor. Similarly, SaaS, everything taken care by vendor. You only feed the data or the application usage, but that also taken care by vendor. So in that case, mostly the shared responsibility like application layer or data specific security responsibility come under company, but mostly it goes to vendors. So that's how it here. In SaaS approach, the vendor responsible for managing the security of their hardware. Okay, in PaaS approach, the customer is still responsible for the data and application, but doesn't directly interact with the operating system. So the responsibility shift to the vendor. In SaaS approach, the vendor manages almost everything. The only responsibility that customer has, knowing that data is stored in the service, applying appropriate access controls. That's all the customer's responsibility. So in exam standpoint, you must know IaaS, PaaS, SaaS, what is the security responsibility model. So with that, we'll conclude on time. So if you have any questions, post it on the chat. Otherwise, we'll wrap this call in next 2 minutes. All right, everyone. If no questions, we'll wrap. We'll see you on next session. That's the final session. I would request everyone to take care of the ISC2 training seriously and try to schedule the exam and prepare aggressively for all the concepts so far we have seen. I'm expecting maybe some good news within next 30-45 days. You go and hit the exam. So keep me posted if you clear the exam or in case if that goes wrong, in case you failed, keep me posted. We'll go long way together to achieve this certification. So again, next year they would provide the same offer. In case you take this year and failed, next year you have option to approach again and you can clear, because it's not something like one time I tried and failed. If you failed, you learned many things and then you strengthen the weakness, then you can appear for next year for another exam. So that way this journey will continue. Keep it as light and consistency is key. So keep prepare and try to close as early as possible, because once you book the exam, your time started kicking and you will focus. So every day spend at least an hour to crack. That will change your career, or if you're looking for an entry-level job, you can easily attract your first employer quickly to get information security or cybersecurity related roles by holding this certification. So with that note, I would like to thank